Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Victor. It's 20th day of August 2025. Karibu sana to Good Morning Kenya. We are back like we never left. All right. So welcome to the show starting right now until 10 a.m. Of course, there is plenty to talk about, and we are welcoming you to stay with us until the end of the show from whichever part of the country and as well as across our borders. Karibu sana, and talk to us on our social media handles. That is at Victor and at KBC Channel 1 on all social media platforms. Please, let's talk. How are you doing? Today being a Wednesday, there's so much that I want us to talk about when it comes to the viewpoint. My guest will be in studio shortly, but before then, why don't I just do the honorable thing and introduce? There you have them.
Good morning.
The three musketeers. The early risers. I wish you could see how Vivian runs to the studio every morning. Guys,
I don't study it. It's no lie.
Yeah?
It's the truth.
The morning gang.
Quite nice heels.
The morning rush.
Victor, hi. Victor, yeah. What's the time? Oh my God. Okay. What are we starting? Hey.
But don't we love it? We always love it, and we appreciate that you take your time to also start your morning with us right here on the show. We love it and we appreciate it. For sure, it's a beautiful morning. I don't feel like it's as chilly as yesterday was. Today is not as chilly.
It's better.
Yeah.
It's better.
Wow, it's better.
It's a better morning.
It's not better. It's better.
So yeah, the day started off well. It's a good thing to be here. And today being a Wednesday, we have a lot in store for you. Of course, we'll be looking matters politics. We'll also have a conversation on matters EU that Mike will be talking to us about. And then on Women at the Forefront, we have a beautiful young lady. She's currently Miss Kenya USA. Her name is Nancy Jerene, and she will be our Woman at the Forefront. Our topic of conversation being beyond beauty, because she does a lot more other than just carry the crown of Miss Kenya USA. She is a public health advocate, an educator, and a cultural ambassador. You definitely want to stay tuned for that conversation, as she is doing great work for communities right here in Kenya. Better stay tuned for that. Mike.
Good morning, Vivian.
Morning.
Usually, morning, you know, we are morning people. The three of us, we are morning people, and the whole team here, which is not a cup of tea for so many. So it's something that you have to. It's not. It doesn't have to grow towards you. You have to like it. But more importantly, this is what we love to do. So we love to be here every morning to start your day, and we are glad that you're watching KBC Channel 1. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike. We're speaking matters of EU. We are taking an angle of education. We want to talk about bridging the gap in your education, also creating avenues for these education opportunities for the youth, especially within the country. I'll be speaking to Ambassador Henriette Giga, who is the EU ambassador to Kenya and permanent representative to the UNEP and UN Habitat. We'll be looking at the education opportunities that Kenyans can take advantages of, and the programs that are funded by EU and how they can benefit Kenyans, and also higher learning educations within the country. That is a conversation that will be happening or coming to you at around 8 a.m. So you have to tune into that conversation. Remember, you can be part of every conversation happening right here on Good Morning Kenya. We are at KBC Channel 1 on all our social media platforms. Victor?
Yes. So before we get into the discussion,
yes.
As always, Chaniko KBC. Guys, remember that? Chaniko KBC. A quick rundown on what happened yesterday. Madagascar let me just get that running order to just shortly. But before I get into that, why don't I just give you, okay, so yesterday, Nigeria managed to beat Congo 3-0. The Super Eagles of Nigeria beat Congo 3-0, and Congo fed on one red card yesterday. And Sudan settled on a 0-0, that is with Senegal, and that is Senegal also got a red card, so there were 10 men. Congo were also 10 men. No, I beg your pardon. Nigeria won 2-0, not 3-0, 2-0 against Congo. And Sudan, Senegal, 0-0. So that marks the end. So now the next phase will be on Friday, but then now there is a problem. There are no tickets. The system crashed.
Yeah.
Well, according to what is there, the system crashed yesterday around midday or thereabout when the sales was on. Now, on Friday is the big match. Kenya versus Madagascar. All right. And then Tanzania will face Morocco. Those two matches will be quite tough. Let me just say this.
Yes. Those will be really tough matches. And, I've been seeing Kenyans online just banter, just bantering about Tanzanians getting to face Morocco. And they're like, sasa tumewaachia, you know? And it's really something I'm looking forward to because okay, I don't want to say if we happen to lose because we're not losing. I mean, we've not lost a game since we started playing Chan. We've played 4 games so far. We've won 3 games. We've gotten to draw on 1 game. So there's no losing. We are going to finalize Chan as unbeaten.
Tunamaliza safari.
Yeah, tunamaliza mpaka mwisho vile tu tumeanza until the very end, as we also hope to become or to emerge the winners of Chan 2024.
Is it safe to say mwendo tunaimaliza?
I think it's still early. We still have a mwendo to go.
You know, it has a different meaning. Saying unamaliza mwendo.
Tunamaliza mwendo ya soka.
Plus,
what is the safari? Safari is what is mwendo in English?
Mwendo is ni kama journey.
Journey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've just said hii safari tunamaliza. Safari is a journey as well.
Yes.
So safari, journey na mwendo are all the same thing.
Yeah.
If you say tunamaliza safari, it's the same as kumaliza mwendo.
Yeah.
So we are good.
We are good. But also, you look at the Baltas online. Tanzanians are very confident that if we ever met, that they would beat us. My friend, I think for avoidance of any doubt, at some point, whether in Chan or in the future, we should have a match with them, just to make sure that we settle this. This banter. Before I let you take over, Victor, let me give the people a quote for the day. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. That is a quote by C.S. Lewis.
All right.
Very good.
Victor.
In other words, no human is limited. The more you continue growing, the more you continue to dream more and you get better. All right, so today let's talk about what's happening across the country. And of course, the president has formed a multi-agency team to probe into the graft allegation against the legislature. And that is what I want to talk about: the DCI, KRA, the Financial Reporting Center, ECBK, we have got EACC, we have got the DCI, and etc., etc. I've also been given that mandate now to investigate some of the members of parliament accused of graft inside the House. So that is going to be forming part of our discussion. Remember, the president is also out of the country to Yokohama in Japan for a meeting with 40 heads of state there, as well as what is now, MPs are saying that that is a blanket condemnation against some members of parliament. Actually, according to them, some MPs are still new, first-term MPs, and so they should not be condemned in wholesale. That is going to be forming my part of discussion. Fred Ogola, professor, who is a commissioner, People's Restorative Justice Commission, will be here. I also have Peter Mutua-Mutuku, who is a governance and leadership expert, as well as Wilson Sosion, who is a former NARSEC Gen and former nominated member of parliament. The 3 wise men will be on set with me shortly for us to get into the discussion. How about I quickly start with the front page of our local dailies. Let me start with the front page of the Star. MPs rebel. Yes, basically what we are going to discuss. MPs rebel as big bribery scandal threatens to sink parliament. That is what I have here on the front page of the Star newspaper. MPs rebel as big bribery scandal threatens to sink parliament. It is the third time in 2 weeks that the president raised that concern over bribery allegations in the House. And now the president has appointed a powerful multi-agency team to lead war on graft. How that is going to end is something to look forward to. And of course, now we have got NIS boss Nordin Haji, we have got office of the AG will be also in that same category. We also have the office of the DPP, the office of the DCI, CBK, FRC, that is Financial Reporting Center, ESC, KRA boss, etc., etc. So we have got a lot that is going to be happening in the coming days. And also, Dr. Oginde also said yesterday that they have started investigations into the allegations raised by the president, and that is what is happening here on the front page of the people of the Star newspaper, I beg your pardon. But then now MPs are on recess, but they are not letting that to slide easily because they're saying that is a blanket condemnation. On the front page of the Star newspaper. Quickly on the inner pages, Moi University, Vice Chancellor to meet unions as Dawn's planned strike. That is what I have here. And of course, the weatherman says that rains are still here, so please do not plant yet. Farmers in Nyeri have been advised not to embark on planting crops as the current rains are inadequate. According to the weatherman, Nyeri County Director of Meteorological Services, John Muiruri, said that the rains falling in several parts of the country since Saturday are short-lived, and so do not plant yet. On the back page of the Star newspaper, Babadogo jubilate how Justin's plea to President Ruto helped resolve and save a community's soul. The playing ground in Babadogo is a controversial and contested piece of land with allegations that there are some, unscrupulous businessmen who are planning actually to grab the land. Okay. Wanyonyi eyes first times as tonight's Lausanne athletics. That is on the inner pages on sports. Okay. Let me get that. Lazima tucheze pia kidogo. It's happening. Again, co-host Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda send a message to rivals after reaching CHAN quarterfinals. Okay, so that is what I have on the inner pages of the Star newspaper. So the story of Wanyonyi, who is chasing first times on return to Lausanne meeting. Olympic 800 meters champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi is eyeing even faster times at the Lausanne Diamond League tonight, returning to the field where he clocked the second fastest time in the world in 2024. It was last year's Lausanne meeting that the 21-year-old stormed to a swift 1 minute 41 and 11 seconds, the joint second fastest time ever alongside Denmark's Wilson Kipkerer. So that is on the Star newspaper. On the front page of the Standard newspaper, log in their eyes. The two gentlemen in question, President William Ruto and Honorable Raila Odinga, log in their eyes, side by side on the front page of the Standard. What is the explainer here? Ruto's tirade against MPs has been branded sheer hypocrisy. The executives wrote drafts they spec on in Parliament, from dodgy tenders at KEMSA to substandard fertilizer crippling farmers to hush-hush oil import deals. The scandals trails his administrations like a shadow. Even his allies' handouts at churches and stadiums clocked as generosity reek of patronage politics. For many Kenyans, the president has squandered the chance to make corruption, quote-unquote, a high-risk venture, as promised. Instead, he's finger-pointing as opposed to a government gorging on the vice it condemns, and all this time being urged by his bosom friend, Raila Odinga. So that is on the front page of the Standard newspaper. On the inner pages, what do I have here? Heartbreak for stranded families at state freezes overseas treatment. It was also reported that some of the patients were not able to access SHA in some of the countries, outside the country. Court summons pathologist over Mwathi inquest. Jeff Mwathi died during a party in a house linked to DJ Fatso. And so the summons are after 3 doctors failed to present medical reports. Kindiki navigates jinxed DP slots as a running mate debate emerges. All right. So politics 101. Okay. So majority leader in parliament made remarks that ran deep in Kenya's second office. Past deputy president have had turbulent periods with so-called power brokers. That is what's on here on the front page of the Standard, not front page, in a pages of the Standard. And now doctors now accuse insurance firms of undermining healthcare. The issue of healthcare and all that has been a problem. Okay, so executive wrote, when the pot calls the kettle black. Finally, Murugara dares Ruto to name MPs in 10 million shillings bribery allegations. MPs actually yesterday, what could be seen as put their political differences aside to call on the president as or the executive to name the MPs and, if possible, arrest the accused persons. Okay. So right now, I want us to take a break, but before then, the weatherman says that do not plant yet. How about we take a look at what's happening on the weather forecast? Let's take a break. We'll be right back. My guests are already in studio. Professor Fred Gola, Wilson Sosion are already here. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Very good.
Yes.
We'll be here shortly. Stay with us.
Wazee, tunajua mko na love ya team sana.
Na hiyo energy ndio inatupush kila game.
Lakini show up Kasarani na genuine tickets. Kama una tickets za support wa KBC, Kibaitiko Place Hi-Fi na Band.
Let's do it right. Ushinde ndani na nje ya pitch. Tusichome game.
Usichome game.
Tusichome game.
Tusichome game.
Tusichome game.
Kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Tunatambulika kwa mandhari yetu ya kuvutia,
tamaduni zetu, ukarimu wetu, vyakula vyetu, uchapakazi,
na pia kwa sauti tofauti za watangazaji wetu waliobobea.
Libengo liko hapa aka upcoming sponsor. Bila shaka hapa ni kama ya PDG, ma deep state, pia vile cartels.
Tunaenzi talanta za pwani, tunakuza talanta za hapa kwetu nyumbani.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tuko mjengoni kama kawa na wanangu wengine wawili.
Usikose kutegea 103.1 Pwani FM, station ambayo itakupa fursa ya kupata uhondo kamili wa pwani na kuleta Wakenya pamoja.
Pwani FM, tafrija ya kipwani.
right, welcome back. It's now 3 minutes past 7 a.m. Before you leave your house, let's talk politics. But before then, let's talk about the weather forecast. What do we have today? The weather update. Yeah, it's still cold. Today is not that cold as compared to yesterday. All right. So how about to take a look at the weather forecast, Director? All right. So that is basically what's happening across the country. And of course, when you even look at how the weatherman said, of course, it's going to be rainy, but not that quiet for you to start planting. And so be a bit careful, be tulia kidogo, but it's the rain that is pounding better parts of the country. But the biggest point is we have to be very extra careful. We have to be very extra careful when it comes to all that. Have the gentleman, thank you so much for joining us. Peter Mutuku, who is a governance and policy expert, is also a professional in the delivery unit, Nairobi City County. Wilson Sosion is a former NAT Secretary and former nominated member of parliament, as well as Professor Fred Ogola, a gentleman with so many titles. One of them being?
Of course, I mean, the one that you said, I'm a commissioner for People's Restorative Justice.
Yes.
But I'm also a party leader of a party that will form the government, because this government is not shooting the right bullets. Yes. The bullets they're shooting, they're not the right bullets.
Which bullet are you talking about here?
So you saw the bullets that is on the front page of the Star.
Is the gun jamming or something? I don't know. Tell us if the right bullets are lodged.
You know, for example, what is the right problem in Kenya? The Kenyan problem is economic.
Yes.
But they're trying to make it political because Kenyans are crying about food. The country is in the mood of rebellion.
Yes.
For them, they think the country is in the mood of reconciliation. So when people are rebellious because there's no food, healthcare is not performing, education sector is in shambles, unemployment is a big issue. There's now a market called jobless market. Can you imagine? What do you sell in a jobless market? So when all these are the main issues, for them they think is that it's political issue. You try to bring MPs in Karen. One group walks very entitled. That's the UDA MPs. Another group comes in working with a lot of suspicion. Then when both of them walk out, they're all disgruntled. So when you see the front page saying that there's rebellious MPs, the MPs must just rebel because they're trying to shift what has been their ways of operating. Because Victor, if you just look at the following statistics, you run for MP of a constituency, you spend 100 million shillings to win the seat, because I'm sure that's the numbers around there. When you come back, you are given a salary of around 800,000 shillings. And then everybody who is first-time MP wants to live in Karen or Muthaiga, you take a house mortgage, minimum 30 million. So 30 million mortgage for 5 years, because no one can give you a contract for 25 years, yet your MP term is 5 years. Now, to service that mortgage, you'll be spending how much? Maybe 500,000 shillings in servicing it. Then you take a car loan of around 15 million. Usually you're broke. That's why sometimes the MPs can be called in State House for very shameless amount of money. Someone can even take 10,000 shillings because it can actually help you replace a tire. So what we are seeing is that MPs, the politicians, are living beyond their means. When you live beyond your means, you become very desperate. 900,000 shillings is not little money. How many Kenyans earn 900,000 shillings? Maybe just 1%. But you want to live beyond your means. When you live within your means, okay, actually what I'm trying to say, instead of making us MPs, we need to review the politicians' remuneration. These people should not be earning money which cannot work with the GDP.
What are you talking about?
No, yeah.
Revise?
We need to review their salaries.
To what, downwards,
how
upwards?
Can someone earn...
Downwards or upwards?
Downwards, because how can someone earn amount which has no correlation with GDP? When doctors ask for money, they're being told, show us how productive your performance leads to your salary, isn't it? When teachers ask for salary to be increased, me, I was taught by a teacher, all of us see doctors here, isn't it? They are being told, show how you're performing, so we link your performance with your salary. But politicians, they earn above what the GDP can offer. We need to be talking about reviewing this county government. How can you have 47 counties where all is going on is theft? So instead of doing window dressing by saying MP should not take a bribe, that is addressing the symptom. The cause of the problem is that the political structure is not helping this country. The politics of this country is designed not to help the common man. It's to create jobs for the politicians. They become wealthy while Kenyans are just in squalors. Victor, there's something called in Latin, causa causarum. The cause of causes. Let us not scratch the surface. When you go to a doctor, they give a proper diagnostic. What is the problem? Giving you Panadol when you have a headache cannot help. Painkillers cannot cure anything. So according to me, the current issue was politicians trying to show us they are doing something. They are doing nothing. In fact, after that, the MPs went to Parliament. If the MPs are serious, what rebellion are they talking about? Impeach the president if you're not happy. You have a baton, then you make noise. Oh, I have a gun loaded, then I'm saying, this man is disturbing me. He wants to kill me. Say, I will shoot you. Let the MPs, if they are serious rebellion, the best rebellion to give to Kenyans, impeach the president because the country's mood is one term, but for us we are saying half term. So if the MPs are serious, if they were insulted, in fact, if the president said a lie, let them call the president in the House, prosecute him and impeach him. If they can't, let them shut up. Because MPs, in the front page, they talk very harsh. Huko chini wanaongea na preso, kuna vile wanagain. So let us not be cheated here.
It's on the front page of the Star newspaper and on the front page of the Daily Nation. MP's bribery scandal, now there is a crisis to that. And President forms multi-agency team on war against EACC. There is CBK, there's KRA, there's DCI, Office of the DPP, etc., etc. And now, some of them say this is sabotage. Furious MPs cripple House business and paralyze committees in show of defiance. There was no quorum yesterday, and the Speaker had to postpone the House sittings. Lawmakers threaten Speaker with no confidence votes to force them to act. According to the Daily Nation, there is now a prosecution bit of it, which is now rising calls for the President to submit evidence to charge the MPs, the rogue MPs. And finally, the retaliation is that MPs vow to exercise their power of budget cuts to hit back on executive. This is a point of blackmail. The President give us the list, Sosion, give us the list, name the culprits, or retaliation is looming.
I think I'm a happy man.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu.
I'm a happy man because for once there is a resolve to fight corruption, and it must begin somewhere. It must begin big. It must be serious. So the President making repeated statements, and the President's statements are not propaganda or rumors. They are premised on credible, reliable information and data. And addressing a PG and telling them as it is a good beginning. Number two, he has signed a proclamation to lay out government framework of fighting corruption. This country for long has decided to create harmony with corruption. We talk of alleviate, reduce. We don't talk of totally eliminating. It must be eliminated. And that is not going to be a cup of tea. It is going to ruffle the status quo.
Yeah.
And corruption is not institutional. It's not collective. It is individual. It's perpetuated by individuals. And those as an individual, there is nothing wrong with facing the law. So yes, there is nothing wrong as an individual with facing the law.
No, you can't say corruption. You can't say corruption not institutional. It is institutional.
No. If Fred, I'm talking about, if you're engaging in corruption as an individual, it is not the institution doing. So if a member of parliament is taking bribes, it is not Parliament taking bribes. I think we should create a distinction between that, so that then we narrow down
That's
to
incorrect.
the very problem.
That's
But then
incorrect.
overall, this country must be very deliberate. We must criminalize corruption and fight it not only in Parliament but everywhere.
You were a member of Parliament.
Everywhere, everywhere.
You were a member of Parliament. Which committee were you in?
I was in the Committee of Education and Labour. I never saw those bribes.
So when you were a member of
Very
Parliament,
absolutely.
you did not see any bribes?
I did not. I don't know, I can swear by the Bible. I didn't see. I did not see anything
So
called a bribe
what has changed
within membership of
during
my
your time
committee.
and now? What has changed?
I don't know. I'm not in the 13th Parliament, so I cannot speak the experience of 13th Parliament. I can speak about the experience of the 12th Parliament. But overall, you see, if you look at the 10-point agenda that was signed between UDA and ODM, one of them is fighting corruption. And I know it is not going to be a sweet agenda. There will be a push back and forth. But the president must be deliberate and push it. Because if you want to transform this country, we must keep our governance and all systems clean. We must keep it clean, free from corruption. We cannot create harmony with corruption and live with corruption. Somehow, the country must have a Damascus moment. There must be a Damascus moment in this country.
Thank you.
And the Damascus moment by everyone.
Okay.
And all institutions.
We still have more time.
Parliament
We still
must agree
Thank you.
to join the war against corruption.
Thank you.
Judiciary
Thank
must, the executive must.
Peter,
it is a moment for us.
we are here. And what is happening, members of Parliament, for lack of a better word, showed that sense of unity yesterday in Parliament. And some of them actually called on the speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate to summon the president to appear before the House and shed more light. That perhaps shows the gravity of the accusation by the head of state.
First of all, let me appreciate the fact that today you found time to invite us here.
Karibu sana.
I'm in between here. Next to me is Mwalimu, experienced, a former MP. Then there's a professor who is ready to form the next government. For me, I'm here defending the current status quo, probably, and thinking on how to correct things. Let's start with the president himself. He said these things to begin. He started in Homa Bay last week. And when a man says something twice, that man means business. He spoke about it in Homa Bay. And in Homa Bay, there was everybody there from across the country. But now, on Monday this week, he talked to his own UDA members, and together with the brothers from ODM, he repeated the same things. First of all, as a Kenyan, hopeful of getting a good change, I would like to give the president, first of all, some chance and say what he said he made business. Yeah. Two, the multi-agency that was formed. Let us not see a multi-agency that is just going to play and give us results that are not what we expect as citizens. Number three, when the MPs go to the parliament and behave the way they behaved yesterday, you see the president spoke in public. So he never called them. He never called them in a private sitting and talked to them, and then they are telling us what the president said. He's the president who spoke. So in the public, they can still say, let him come and clear the air. Because for me, it's important that we be accountable for any statement that we make. And the Constitution clearly says anybody can be summoned before the Senate or the Parliament to answer questions that people or the Kenyan citizen feel that they need answers. And now that the president, his deputy, and any other person there, they have been proved to be human beings. So they fall in the category of anybody. So it is upon the speakers to think whether it's the right time or not, but make sure that the speakers behave in a manner that allows the MPs to do their work of legislation other than making the noise that they were making yesterday. Because the MPs, the way they are saying the MPs rebel against the stories of bribe, why should it be a collective or behavior in a manner when the president says some of the MPs were even given 10 million? But every other MP now wants to fight for the sum of the MPs. Why? I mean, if I am a suspect, if I am suspected to have to have committed an offense while I was coming to KBC, the fact that we are 3 of us here and I did something doesn't mean that all of us committed. It is, you cannot, I will want to disagree with my good friend here, Professor, when you say that something, so for example, in Nairobi City County where I work, if 1,000 people are corrupt, it is the 1,000 people minus 1. Peter Mutukumutwa. So if 1,000 people are corrupt, does that not mean that the whole institution is corrupt? It is all minus myself. So you'll get your time, wait. So for that matter of saying that it is the parliament, it is some elements in the parliament, the same parliament, the 13th parliament, we know people who profess good faith, who have good manners, whose socialization is stable, and others are of questionable character. And I think that is the group of people that the president was referring to. So for me, as a citizen, first of all, because primarily I'm a citizen before becoming anything else in this world, and as a citizen, I would wish the president comes out or uses the office of head of public service, writes down to the parliament and make it public, so and so, a member of parliament from this constituency was involved in collecting the 10 million, and as senator and as some of his proxies, they were the ones who are demanding 150 million from a certain governor. If it is that way, then we will be fair.
Okay.
Victor, give me a right to answer this question because they have systematically talked about it. I just want to clarify.
Okay.
I want to tell my brothers Osion and George.
No, so address me appropriately. Peter Mutukumutwa.
Peter Mutukumutwa. Sorry.
He's present here.
Sorry, my brother. I'm very sorry. Honestly speaking. Okay. When I say that it is systematic or institutional, Peter, I am an expert in this field, isn't it? There's called sporadic corruption whereby 1-2 people pick money there, isn't it? That's always easy to deal with. But there's what's called systematic corruption, but also there's institutional corruption. When the president quotes the following, Peter, just be transparent and objective. He says, in the House, there's what he call soko huru, isn't it?
What the president mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what soko huru means in English? Free market. Free market economy whereby there's a willing seller, there's a willing buyer, there's no protectionism, isn't it? That's institutional. He says there's chairman of welfare. In every committee in parliament, there's welfare, isn't it? The Speaker of the National Assembly said MPs are village ATMs. That's why they need money. They need CDF to be able to finance everything in the village. When you saw now the report coming later, how nearly all MPs have not complied. In fact, the Auditor General says that they only highlight those who have met the threshold of around 100 million and above stolen or unaccounted for. We know that he says for every bill passed in Parliament, money must be paid either so that the report goes A or B. These are not my words. That passes a test of institutional. I respect your opinion, isn't it, Peter? But let me tell you what, everybody is entitled to their opinion. You understand? But opinion is the lowest level of knowledge because in epistemology, there are levels of knowledge, isn't it? Like revelation is the highest coming from God. But there's what we call inferential knowledge, which is based on facts and evidence. It sits higher. Me, I'm giving you now one based on facts and evidence, quotes from them. We said here before, and I've said before, Al, that MPs are, that place is what is called horse trading. money, the things go where they are. Let me talk about evidence. Finance bill. MPs passed it in the morning. When the president rejects the clap, do they have head of their own? Otienda Molo said, we passed the budget for you. We passed the finance bill for you.
For who?
For the president. He was saying in the House yesterday. We passed the House levy for you, isn't it? Not for Kenyans. Are you hearing those words? They are supposed to present to the people. They are passing a budget for the president. You get me? The budget should be the Kenyan president. Can I respect that MP after those words? What I'm telling you, Victor, this country needs disruption. I appreciate that you're saying you believe in Tesa school. Kenyans don't want Tesa school. Even when you tell me the president is serious, and you're telling me that a man speaking twice, the president was voted as the best liar in the world, isn't it? And these are not my words again. You can find evidence for it. What has the president...
I can't find that.
What has the president said and did? And let me even leave that alone. Let me leave that alone now, Victor. Tell me one thing the president said he will do, and he did. The maiden project of the president was Hustler Fund, isn't it? Which was launched at Norfolk here across the road. On 30th of September, only 13 days after he took office, it collapsed. Everything you hear, and even this one, he even said, if anybody will be found stealing, he will be shot, isn't it? Who has been shot? And then let me tell you what, the commander-in-chief is him, isn't it? But again, the commander-in theft is him. No. Because what I'm trying, listen, Victor, listen, just let me justify.
Victor,
Auditor General has flagged State House.
Just take back that.
Prof. Auditor General has flagged State House.
Prof. Just take
let me prove this.
Allow me to just take back that statement, kindly.
Okay, let me say another way. Auditor General has flagged State House.
No, just take back that statement you've made, kindly.
Which one?
The auditor?
Auditor General.
No, you said there's something talked about theft and something.
Okay, let's put the theft aside.
No, just take it back properly, kindly.
Okay.
Victor.
Before Susan speaks, I would allow me to speak. Victor, kindly guide these.
The question I want to ask all of you, when the president says that there are certain bills, and based on what you've said, that what Otienda Molo said that some of the bills were passed to the president.
Yes, for him.
For him.
Yes.
And now we have got several committees handling several reports. Was that this really showed to some of the reports coming out to the public domain, and even some of the bills that being passed there too for Wanjiku?
Before we continue, before you talk, sir, there is something I would like you to request you.
1 minute before I bring him on.
Yeah, please. We have so many things to discuss today, and we can't discuss everything. Can you guide this process? We just deal with a few, and today, you know, the debate of today is because of last week and on Monday. Let us use those boundaries for today. Then tomorrow you can call us and talk about other things.
I'm doing that. Yeah. Thank you. Well guided. So, Mwalimu, based on that, the bills, the reports coming out, and some of them, I was here with the Deputy Governor of Turkana yesterday, and he aptly said that some of the governors actually complain that whenever they appear before these committees, there are certain demands. That is a deputy governor speaking. So what would that really show to the reports getting out there for Wanjiku to consume, and even some of the bills, and some of the laws that we are now running on as a nation?
Number one, Victor, I believe this is a very serious show.
I get true.
We are communicating to Kenyans. We cannot afford to trivialize serious matters and be reckless in the way we choose words, like the way Prof is doing. I think it's good. We get extremely civil and we debate for the good of the country. For bills to pass in Parliament, it does not require any inducement. Because where there is inducement, then it means they have vested interest. And Parliament as an institution cannot legislate in the interest of certain individuals. It shouldn't. Legislate for the good of the country. Whether those bills originate from government or they originate from members of Parliament, taking bribes so that a bill can be enacted is a tragedy. And we know it does happen. People, business and corporates' interests will always have interest in legislation, to have legislation one way or the other, to create avenues for them to do shoddy business. That should not be the case. That shouldn't. It shouldn't happen in Parliament. Parliament should be a corruption-free zone, particularly when it is about the process of legislation. Number two, in reports, that's about oversight. Oversight is a duty exercised on behalf of the people of Kenya. It is a power donated by the people of Kenya. And this one, it's assisted by many credible reports, either the Auditor General's report, because Parliament must rely on such if it is about financial impropriety and
Say delegated, not donated.
It's my turn.
When you donate, you can't get back.
It is my turn.
Delegation, you give and you can take back. This is an important clarification.
It is my turn.
Okay. It's also my turn to give you tea.
Yes, so it is your turn to give.
I win.
No, you've not won.
No, he has won.
He has won.
He'll give you.
You are the honor of the show.
You know, you've had
You are the honor of the show.
Kericho is here.
No problem. Bring tea. Let's take a break.
We'll be back shortly.
Bring Kericho.
It's tea time. Okay.
No. For me, mark my word, a wash.
Kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
The land of Harambe, tunainuka pamoja.
Tanzania is ready, nguvu ni moja.
Pearl of Africa, welcome everyone.
Kila mwisho wa juma hapa katika runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1 tunakuletea Mkulima.
Mkulima ni kipindi cha kila mtu. Mkulima mdogo, mkubwa, mnunuzi, muuzaji na pia anayenuia kuanza kilimo.
Kuanzia kwa mbinu bora na za kisasa za kilimo, ufugaji,
kukupa fursa za biashara, kuongeza dhamana hadi teknolojia zinazorahisisha kilimo.
Mkulima kisasa inakupa wewe maarifa, motisha na suluhu za kukuza mazao,
kuongeza kipato na pia kulisha taifa kwa jumla.
Tunafidi nchi, tunafidi watoto wetu na tunafidi Europa na tunaweka pesa.
Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30
kwenye runinga ya taifa.
Mkulima, tuko hapa kwa ajili yako,
ambapo fursa na kilimo zinapatana.
All of us have their cups of coffee, so Sion is a happy, happy man. I must say, are you happy?
I'm happy.
Very good.
So
I have to give you a minute so that you
give me a minute. You asked me a question.
Thank you.
What happens in Parliament, in legislation and reports? The reports are always very detailed. They inform the public. It's accountability to the public in terms of oversight. And once adopted by Parliament, the recommendations therein must be implemented to ensure efficiency in running of government. The executive arm of government, of course, is oversighted by Parliament. So then, when it gets to points of inducing the committees, for example, if that allegation, it has been proved it is true in terms of money, then it means the reports are supposed to be doctored. And if reports are doctored, then it means the oversight of Parliament is compromised. The role of Parliament in oversighting institutions, in conducting investigations, in generating reports, in interrogating parties and making recommendations should not be compromised. And it should be honest reports. And so when you hear of Senate, governors, when they are summoned over a number of issues, they must part with some money, and that in some committees, there are chairs of welfare. I think that is sinking too low. If it is happening, it should stop.
Okay.
And the president, within the 10-point agenda that was signed with ODM, UD and ODM, one of the items is corruption. And corruption must begin somewhere. And I think, to me, it has begun in Parliament. And Parliament, the 349 members of Parliament and 67 senators have not been classified as all of them corrupt. Fingers have been pointed at some who are taking bribes and who are engaged in these practices. So there should not be collective defense in Parliament. Parliament is not a union. It is an institution of representation of the people. So we should narrow down to those individuals who are involved.
Thank you.
And the leadership of Parliament should take it upon himself, the House leadership and the leadership, to address that particular matter. Parliament should be a corruption-free zone. The executive should also be a free zone in corruption and judiciary.
Thank you.
So it doesn't mean that some other arms of government are being protected.
You know, this gentleman, starting with you, Peter, to show the seriousness of this allegation by the president, yesterday actually he even announced the formation of a multi-agency. You know, the CBK is there, KRA is there, DCI is there, Office of the Attorney General, etc., etc. This perhaps somebody, we might see it as a very slow move, or somebody say that, is it going to yield any? But when it comes to a point where the DCI boss is involved, CBK is involved, KRA, we have got, EACC and so forth, and so, I mean, we are now looking at the seriousness of this matter. And MPs, on this other hand, are also saying that, you know what, we are going to be condemned blanketly and we are going back to Mwananchi. Whenever a member of parliament now walks out there to Wanjiku, I would imagine the kind of defense they're going to put out there during recess.
When the president spoke, first of all, from when he was in Homa Bay, then he repeated the same thing on Monday. These things were well thought. They discussed with, of course, the advisors. Yeah. They looked, and remember, he pronounced himself as a consumer of raw intelligence. So he was, whatever he was
speaking, been a member of parliament before.
No. You see, member of parliament or not, and he says that by the virtue of the position that he holds in this nation, he gets information on what is happening. Even now, he knows what he's doing here because there are people who are listening. The fact of the matter is this: I don't want to lose, the way there was Peter in the Bible, for those Bible scholars. When Jesus told him, come, when the moment he doubted, he almost lost his life. Now there is a man in this nation who is the president of the Republic of Kenya. He has said twice that he's going to fight corruption. He has said, even went further and gave some details that we never expected to come from him, that some people in parliament collected, who are members of parliament, collected 10 million. So as to have the anti-fraud bill passed. And then he said, Sokohuru, a certain governor, was asked to give 150. Now what we expect, 150 million. Now what we expect
Not us
now,
gave.
He gave 100 million because he pronounced himself. And as just the way Peter said, if you are the one, tell me to come. But now you are the one who said it, Mr. President. Tell us these people so that we are at peace, so that when we come back here to KBC, we are discussing other things. Nobody in this nation is superior to the president. He found the courage and said some people collected 10 million. Let's know the people, so that we separate the institution from a few rotten people, so that when it comes to their time to go to the public and start asking for the vote, we know it's not my MP, it's not the other MP, so he will come out and name them. And let me tell you something, this MAT is called MAT Agency Team. People should be careful. Those people who had issues with the law, that they were said they were involved in corruption of this nature in the counties at national level, their accounts were, they were told they cannot operate their accounts and so forth. Let them not imagine now they have friends in those institutions. It's not about friends, it's not about kinsmen, it's about the law and what the president had said. So for me, what I would wish, so that we don't continue this debate when we are talking about an amorphous statement, as something that is shapeless, in the manner that who are these people who are involved in collecting the 10 million? The president had the courage to speak about it twice. And maybe wherever he is today in Japan, he may mention it again. So if he had the courage to speak about it twice, let him mention, this is what I know. As Honorable so-and-so, Honorable so-and-so, Honorable so-and-so. And then he goes to Senate. Senator from this county sent his proxy by the name of this and this. He collected this amount of money from a certain joint in the city. The money was handed over, and is this way it was shared. What is big in that? Why should we keep thieves in our parliament?
That's okay. Thank you, Peter. But then another question: how will this change the political landscape? This to all of you, Prof.
So first of all, what is happening currently is that the meeting that took place in Karen, what was it supposed to achieve? Was it supposed to summon these people about how they are stealing, or it was a PG meeting where they're supposed to come together and have a unified ways on how they want to achieve corruption? If I was the president, because now I don't want to talk about him, if I was the president, I could have gone and told these MPs that corruption is a cancer in this country. This country cannot develop if corruption is still there. So they're supposed to come with a joint PG outcome on what the MPs themselves would do, the ODM, the UDA, the way forward. Not a lecture. Because I can tell you, you saw that some of them who are giving lectures were being heckled. Later, they went now, because why do you meet people in Karen? As that was a very cohesive, intimate meeting, then they go and start shouting at you in Parliament, if the outcome was good. They could have met in a way by the president could have not started accusing, throwing fingers, because now they're telling him, you are the one who give. If they take, you give. We pass the bill for you. So instead of accusing them, the issue was that, how can we come together? Because even sinners can go, for example, you're in your cell, you can say, Sisi, we have been jailed here for 10 years for stealing. Tomorrow is our day of freedom. How do we go out there and become good people? And I can tell you, my brother, everybody should be allowed the freedom to confess and to have Damascus moment, because Jesus himself allowed Paul, who was actually the church allowed Paul, who was prosecuting Christians, killing them, to become a leading apostle. Paul went on even to get the name of the Pope, Pope John Paul II. This guy was killing people. So everybody is allowed actually to have that, the Damascus moment. Don't always try to be vindictive. But the way forward is, the president could have not gone on to start telling them they are the cause of corruption. He's been a member of parliament. What did he do about it? Isn't it? This should have been rallying call. In fact, Victor, I said earlier that let us go to the cause of causes. Where does these things begin? Our voters there who want to vote for you for anything, they expect you to spend money on them, isn't it? The political parties themselves, ODM and UDA, gave the ticket to these MPs who are thieves, isn't it? So they are being told they are the ones who are corrupt. Who gave them the party tickets? So the political process to getting to parliament is also a cost to all this. And I want to say...
Can you answer this in 1 minute? How will it change the political landscape? Now moving forward, this was said, look at the audience at the devolution conference, and again, look at the audience at the parliamentary group meeting.
Let me tell you,
these are two powerful
audiences.
There's
nothing is going to change. I can tell you, the way it's being done, I've told you, is the wrong way to do it. So you cannot be able to expect good results out of a wrong process. The process should justify the results. Garbage in, garbage out. Victor, this thing is simple. There's called input, output, outcome, impact. So by setting a multitask force, these two forces that I'm saying my brother Peter has faith in, this is a washing machine. You know what a washing machine does? They wash the clothes, but the clothes still going to be used again. They get dirty. You bring them back, isn't it? So there is no outcome here because the process is wrong. Because what I'm trying to say here is that the president says he knows who is stealing. Let them get arrested. Let him order the people to prosecute the people who are taking bribes. Let us not waste time on who is, which multitask forces have been set. It began with Moi. He set all the task forces we know of and commissions. No results were seen with them. Mark my word, there's no results on this one.
You know, Victor, Professor is elected to be a pessimist.
I'm not elected.
He is elected to be a pessimist.
You have elected, you have decided.
And I think it's proper English. He needs to go back to some English class. And for me,
Victor, I'm being attacked personally.
I see optimism.
And you don't tell him to withdraw. That is a personal attack.
No, there's no.
But I allow you.
Withdraw, it's your choice. Withdrawn and
me, I'm easy.
Okay. Now, Kenya must have a Damascus moment on matters corruption and everything else. Professor said we must disrupt the status quo. How do you disrupt if you are extending kids' gloves to those who are supposed to help to fight corruption? The meeting at Karen was parliamentary group to advance the 10-point agenda, including the NATCO report. We saw presentations by Agnes Sani on the implementation of the framework of the 10-point. One of them is corruption. We saw a presentation by Professor Makau Mutua on restitution of people who have died between 2017 to 2025 from demonstrations and other things of self-determination, because that must be done. It's the right thing to do. And when the leader spoke, did you expect the leaders to massage their audience when there are serious issues? Call it as it is. And I think they did it. As a leader, speak truth to power. Say as is. The president said it. And we've seen the auditor's report on loss of money, even in CDF. That one, don't ignore. And we cannot ignore auditor's report. Me, I don't ignore. It is a serious one that must be addressed. If we are losing resources, wastage of resources, and corruption is not just loss of money. Corruption is also way of doing things in office, operating outside integrity. And so, when the president calls out, that's the president of the republic, and he's talking.
Yeah.
You cannot bastardize by engaging in collective noise in parliament. I don't agree with parliamentarians what they are trying to do. I think it is time for them to reflect and ask questions. Now that the president has shown the lead, can parliament join the president in helping the country root out corruption in public institutions? Because it is the members of parliament who will scrutinize and audit every office. And they shouldn't spare. Parliamentarians should not spare anybody in the executive who is involved in corruption.
Okay.
And the institutions that are supposed to work, like EACC, of course we have talked about EACC, it doesn't have prosecutorial powers, it doesn't have adequate resources in terms of money, it doesn't have adequate personnel. Probably this is the time to do it. And that is what that joint committee chaired by the president should be able to handle, so that the different arms that are supposed to deal with corruption are enabled to do so. It's a beginning point. And when it is chaired by the presidency, then it means it is a serious agenda in the presidency and in the country and in government to fight corruption. And I agree with Moses Kuria that probably that team should be broadened, so that we have the civil societies also sitting on board, we have the churches, we have other institutions, so that it becomes a whole society approach. We can improve it from where the president has
Victor,
designed.
just allow me to ask him one question.
So
you want to ask him?
So
Yes.
Victor, I don't need a question now. I don't need a question. Allow me to finish.
It could be important. Prof,
What is
what's the question?
stopping? What is stopping the resources to be taken to EACC, then create another mongrel of a body which will still need resources?
Not creating. If mistakes were made in the past, like remember when Moi created Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission during his time and placed John Harun Mwau, who is also known to be corrupt, to be the chair of anti-corruption, then you can see non-intention from the executive. And the fact that this institution, the architecture of these institutions in the past, with the past executives, the institution had not been given power and capacity to do that.
While Mwalimu is quick to correct us students when we have made a mistake, myself and my other student, Ogola, allow the student now from this side to correct Mwalimu by telling him to withdraw the accusations against Harun Mau that is corrupt, because he's not known and it's not in record that he's corrupt.
I'm sure you're not voting.
I'm
giving examples.
No, but examples must be credible.
And when PLO Lumumba tried to move furiously to reform the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission...
Have you withdrawn?
You have not. No, I don't know why you're allowing him to continue.
I am not withdrawing. I'm making my statements, and I'm entitled to my statements.
Okay, we will leave him to defend his statements.
I'm talking how the corruption institutions were mismanaged by the executives so that they don't work.
Okay.
So it is deliberate that you don't allow EACC to prosecute, that you don't allow EACC to have personnel. And I think now is the time to enable this institution. Right. The president has begun from a certain point. And the point where the president has begun, the president should now take it full scale and full throttle.
Let's now tighten our
seatbelts. I think all of us must support the president.
We are now approaching the runway. We are almost landing this plane now.
But not with me.
No. We are still
Okay.
Approaching to, we are descending now. Based on what I asked, how is it going to change the political landscape? Because the united front against corruption should be national, all right? It doesn't matter who is going to fight it, from the president, from members of parliament, including all of us here. It was a responsibility to do that. So how is it going to change the political landscape? Let's just get into the political bit of it for just 1 minute each. Let me start with you.
Well, I wanted to, first of all, to pick his thoughts about when he asked Dr. Mwalimu about why president will not channel funds to EACC. Common sense tells you when something becomes as difficult as it is, you form a task force. The multi-agency team, it should have the word task force. Task force is given timeline, short timeline with targets, because the existing systems have not been able to handle it as it were. That's why it gave the wisdom of forming MAT. Now coming to the landscape, it has already changed, especially when the newspapers published the laws of money by CDF, CDF constituencies, and we saw the members of parliament that were named there. They went ahead and started kwani ni sisi peke yetu. Then we have gotten to know even other constituencies that it was this list appeared of over 90,000 to 100 million, I mean over 90 to 100 million and so on. There are also other constituencies that have lost about 30 million and so. So basically what has happened now, the landscape, political landscape has changed. So anybody who has ambition, who wanted to contest in a certain constituency, now is going to be free for you. You may not even spend a lot of money, Professor. You need to go for that seat, wherever you had eyed. Now the change is here. We are going to, I'm speaking now as a citizen, we are not going to vote them in, we are not going to vote corrupt people in, we are going to vote them out. Those people think or assume they are clean, come forth, and we are going to elect you. And what is also going to happen, quietly and unknowingly, our president and the prime minister, they did what they accused these MPs. Somebody somewhere is trying to use what is called in philosophy or criminal philosophy, PD, prisoner's dilemma, where you are going to tell the MP, kindly tell us how much you took and how much you took elsewhere. So it's going to be a back and forth, because we are likely to find some members of parliament from the way they were behaving yesterday at parliament, starting saying, yes, we collected it, we were under instruction of so and so, and we took this one from Daktari here, and we took this one to this professor. It's going to be, politically, it's going to be messy. So if it's now time for those people wait for crisis to make a good of the crisis, because you already have political crisis where people are not going to agree. Either in ODM, UDA, or any other party, they are not going to agree. So you have space, launch your bit, you are likely to get something.
Very good.
So Victor, let me say that in my party, we came out with a model called Evolve, that the country needs to evolve. And evolve is a 6-letter word where E means economic turnaround, V means value addition, O means optimized talent, L is leverage strategic partnerships, and that's where I want to speak to, where we talk about lean and clean government. Lean and clean government can be impetus for so many investments. For example, Victor, if you are sitting in New York or in London and you are reading the front page of a newspaper, will you bring money here? Do you know how many people want to come to Kenya? And if you go to State House, there are 3 gates, isn't it? There's gate A, there's gate B, there's gate C. Gate A is the official gate if you want to go. You write a letter and you get appointment with the president if you want to. Gate B, should you have a relative, for example, if you are a friend or associate, you can hold his trouser and you can go through it. And gate C, normally if you bribe, isn't it? And those brokers are there. So I have looked at the statistics done by Transparency International. They have categorized corruption into 3 categories. One is called petty corruption, whereby some people masquerade to pick money from others. The second is called grand corruption, where there are people of power in the state who use those powers that they must be given money so that something happens. And the last one is called state capture. Now, state capture has gone to the highest level, where individuals, sometimes outside the government, hold the state into hostage, whereby something cannot happen at EACC and the rest. Now, where is Kenya? Is Kenya where individuals outside government hold the state institutions hostage? No. What we have in Kenya is whereby people within government are the ones actually who are corrupt. In this way, there is no need of appointing a task force outside to investigate them. It is the president who appoints EACC chair. True or false? All those officers he has appointed to come to the task force, he's the same one who appoints them to those offices, approved in parliament. So do you know why this is interesting, Victor? Is that all the people whom he's appointing are approved in parliament. All institutional bodies are approved in parliament, appointed by the president. So let me tell you what. The corruption will end when the president has seen it to be something he does not want to see. Then parliament will discover they have a boss who do not want to see corruption, isn't it? And the people who are state officers will be meeting a boss who don't want to listen to it. But lastly,
I want to take a break.
Let all Kenyans not see corruption as government. All Kenyans must look at themselves in the mirror and ask themselves, what role are they playing in corruption,
let's take a
and
break.
change their mind.
Prof, let's take a break. When you come back, I'll give you 2 minutes each so that we give a round of closing remarks. And then the president is also in Japan, TICAD, one of the biggest body that 40 members of presidents are attending, and it will be a 3-day event. Let's just take a look at that and what we are benefiting from there when it comes to health, infrastructure, etc., in 2 minutes each. And then lastly, the governor of Kericho is facing the senators today, again, for the second time. In 10 months, we are going to take a look at that. He'll be facing the senators for his impeachment case. That will be taking roughly 10 minutes, then we'll wind up. Stay with us.
Kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Meet the experts who empower you with competent skills at craft, certificate and diploma level. Sensei Institute of Technology. My skills, my future.
Mimi nimeona Harambee Stars wako sawa. Mechi ya kwanza mpaka ya mahali wamefika. Mimi ile kitu natarajia wakienda tena quarter final wanaenda kuperform mpaka final. So Harambee Stars wako salama.
Introducing Duracoat Aquatec Credential, Kenya's first tintable waterproofing paint.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture.
Movies, gossip and trends, sports,
Drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
to keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
In a world where news is ever-changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Okay, so let's 1 minute each, closing remarks, gentlemen. It's been a very good run. We've discussed matters of national politics. I think this is very important for us. Let me start with you, Sosion. 1 minute, kindly.
Yeah, when the political ecosystem is going to change with determination to fight corruption and the chemistry of Kenyans and the thinking of everybody in society will turn to a positive angle of fighting corruption, including the brand of leaders, the type of leaders to be elected in the next election. If this agenda of fighting corruption will be cascaded down to the grassroots level. So the narrative actually is absolutely going to change. And once we bring corruption down to zero, then we can achieve true transformation. This is what the Asian tigers have done. They've fought corruption to zero. In countries like Malaysia, for example, when you're involved in corruption, it's so criminalized that you're even sentenced to death. So nobody dares engage in corruption. And I think this is a revolution we need in this country. This is a disruption of the status quo that we need in this country. Because I think for over 60 years, our economy has been resilient to years and years of raw corruption. And I think it is time we kick corruption out of this country. The president's determination needs to be supported. And once in our period of independence, let us accept.
Thank you.
To get out of corruption completely, criminalize corruption, demonize corruption, and have a country that is free from corruption.
Thank you. Better way to stop it. Yes, Peter.
Let us all of us join hands and fight corruption in our small ways, and let us give a second chance to the leadership of this nation. They have pronounced themselves. A task force has been formed in the name of agency team. Let us give them chance and be hopeful that things are going to change. Things may have been bad in the past, but now that we have hope, let us join the hopeful ones and join them in action, in deeds, and in thoughts, so that we start with ourselves, fighting corruption in our spheres, and gradually we are going to eradicate corruption in this nation. That is a thing that we need to talk about, think about, discuss about, research on, so that eventually the dragon is slain.
The dragon is slain. Very well put. Prof, 1 minute as well.
Yeah, fellow viewers, I want to tell you that corruption is a so-called economy of corruption. Corruption makes things happen. And it won't start by these current leaders. Mark my word. Corruption, everybody must pay a price, including you, a Kenyan citizen. There is what they call the price of electing bad leaders that you have to pay, but there's a price that you have to pay to get good leaders. If on election day you want to eat for one night, then you fast for 5 years, the choice is yours. But if you want to fast for one night and get the right leader, then actually you are going to be fed in the next 5 years. So the choice is yours. And I want to say that corruption at the moment looks like weather. We complain about it and we do nothing about it. Let's do something. Let's do civic education, educate anybody on the bad of corruption. I want to end by saying the net effect of corruption is bad for everybody. Can you imagine if you are in charge of water treatment in the county, then you take the wrong water treatment plant because someone has bribed you, then the same water will pollute the whole county and even kill some of your family members. So we call them wisdom of fools, thinking that you are gaining by taking a little amount of money, but actually you can kill even your own family. If you're a policeman, you take a bribe down the escarpment, and then that car, which has no brake, goes to hit your son or daughter, you have lost. So let us stop corruption, because the wisdom of fools, when we are clean, all of us will gain. Thank you, and God bless Kenya.
Thank you very much. The gentleman who has spoken last is Professor Fred Gola. He is the Commissioner, People's Restorative Justice Commission. Next to him is Mheshimiwa. That title of...
Call me a veteran educator instead of juggling around things.
Mwalimu is good. He's a very good educator.
By the way, he's a chemistry teacher.
Yes.
Wow. So what is the solution to all these problems you're facing? The chemical
you make
solution.
sure that there is a stable equilibrium.
What do we
Forward reactions and backward reactions should be equal, and it must
do we use a
some
pipette to
stability.
gauge the members of parliament? Do we use a burette to gauge the president?
No, you calibrate using all those instruments and ensure that you attain a very stable and you attain a very stable chemical equilibrium.
A very good point to have a litmus test for the executive and the legislature, right, Mwalimu? Very good. Peter Mutuku Mutua is also governance and leadership expert. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of the show. When we talk about corruption, we have just to fight, all of us. I mean, we can never take any slight movement about that. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. A quick one, Chan Iko KBC. On Friday, Kenya will face Madagascar, early kickoff, and Tanzania will face Morocco. Yesterday, Sudan drew 0-0 with Senegal, and finally, Nigeria beat Congo 2-0. My name is Victor Lo. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Bye-bye. Good morning.
Kwa majina naitwa Anthony Mzee Obala, Hiki ni kikundi ambacho tulianza 2009. Nilikuwa na ile morali ya mpira, nikasema wacha nichukulie dimension ya mpira na niangalie kama naweza kuza talanta. Kwa sababu ukipata pale juu, si ati mtu atakuwa amejua kucheza mpira pale juu pasipo kupitia hapa chini. So kwanza tuangazie grassroots, na hapo ndio mbali niko. Na mbali na kuangazia grassroots kucheza, tunafundisha vijana vile wanaweza ishi, kubadilisha tabia na pia kujaribu kuangazia mambo ya conflicts. Tulianza na watoto wa miaka 12 na 14, watoto karibu 40. Sasa kama hapa pale tuko, tuna vijana kuanzia miaka 10 hadi 24, 5 na watoto zaidi ya 150. Kwa wale ambao nilianza nao saizi, kuna wale ambao wako Gor Mahia, kama kuna huyo Mala, kuna ule John Ochieng ambaye saizi ameenda Zambia, kuna Toby Otieno ambaye yuko USA saizi, kuna Maingi ambaye ni polisi saizi, anacheza polisi. Then wasichana pia kuna msichana ambaye yuko Viga Queens, Zitek ina wasichana 4. Majority of them wako Kisumu All Stars hapa hivi. Na pia katika hiyo timu ya under 18 kuna mmoja pia ametoka hapa yuko kwa hiyo timu. So tunaweza sema wachezaji karibu 50 kwenda juu wako mahali na wanaweza weka chakula kwa meza. Mpira ikiisha ni wapi unaenda? Lazima ukuwe na kitu ya kujishikilia. Na pia wale wako mtaani pale maybe ambao wachezi mpira wawe na mahali pao pia ambao wanaweza kuja kufanya vitu walizofanya fanya ili ya kujisaidia. Tukawa pia tunafungua sekta ya photography na film. Wale ambao tulianza nao kwa film tayari saizi wameform organization yao inaitwa Naweza. Then kuna vijana karibu 7 saizi wanajifundisha DJing. Na tunania kuwa baada ya muda tutakuwa tumeleta mabadiliko katika jamii. Nitashukuru kwa sababu waziri pia alikuwa hapa na akatuambia wanaenda kutuingiza sisi tutakuwa kama satellite academy ya Talanta Hela upande huu. Ni program nzuri ambayo inalenga vijana chipukizi. Mayouth wetu kama kuna talanta tuende polepole, tuweze kusikiza, tuwe na nidhamu na waweze kujua maisha si ati vile iko tu itakuwa hivyo, lakini tunaweza ibadilisha.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
When the sun rises, so does the sound of praise. Every weekend, join us on a spiritual journey filled with soul-stirring music, powerful testimonies, and the true heart of worship. From Kenya's most anointed voices to the new generation of gospel ministers, Worship Experience brings you the atmosphere of heaven right into your home. Don't miss Worship Experience every Saturday and Sunday, only on KBC Channel 1. Worship Experience, uplift your spirit. Connect with God.
Habari muhimu ni zile zinazoathiri maisha yako, na zinapojiri tuko hapo.
Tunakuletea habari zinazojiri nchini na kimataifa.
Hakuna kabila ambayo iko hapa Kenya kwa mwaliko ya mwingine.
Mambo ya matibabu isiwe starehe ya watu wadosi.
Tunakufahamisha kila wakati ili uwe tayari kwa yajayo.
We will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Katika ulimwengu unaosonga kwa kasi, usahihi wa habari ni muhimu.
The only thing that has changed, Senator Khalwale, is that you are defending the indefensible.
If you allow me as a bullfighter, I'll fix him here and now and it will be sorted out.
You were doing very well until you brought out your character of bullfighting.
Tunakupa habari sahihi na zisizoegemea upande wowote.
Pindi tu walioteuliwa wataidhinishwa na bunge la kitaifa.
Na ni hapa ndipo
Darubini,
kila siku ya Jumatatu na Jumanne
saa 1 jioni.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. You're still watching KBC Channel 1. My name is Mike Megwe. Let's now talk matters education. We've done with politics. Now let's delve into matters education. Today we're looking at how we can bridge the gap in education and create avenues for the youth. And with me in studio is Ambassador Henriette Giga, who is EU Ambassador to Kenya and permanent representative to the UNEP and UN Habitat. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Morning
Good
to
morning.
you.
Thanks for inviting us.
Karibu sana. And also there is Dr. Darlene Ikirima, who is an awardee of the 2025 to 2027 Erasmus Plus Mundus program. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
And also Lina Mkoji, who is an alumni of the same program that was between 2016 and 2018.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana, karibu sana. Let's talk about going to study abroad, and I want to engage you, Madam Ambassador, on why Kenyan students should consider Europe as a destination for their higher studies.
Yes, the European Union has been providing opportunities for a very long time, both for scholarships and also paid stays and studies. And the European Union, as an entity of 27 member states, has a joint program called Arasmus, which offers a whole host of different opportunities for students and universities. But on top of that, most of our 27 member states have also bilateral programs to promote studies in Europe. So traditionally here in Kenya, the offer was focused mostly on English-speaking countries like the US, UK, Australia, Canada. And what the EU has to offer was not very well known. But in recent years, all the programs at the universities in Europe have converted to English. And so it's completely open to the Kenyan student population without learning another language. So, and the EU has so many opportunities, and with our Erasmus program, we are basically offering more than 300 different programs to potential scholars from Kenya, fully funded with a full and the most generous scholarship that I know.
When you say fully funded, everything is catered for, from travel expenses, processing of papers, education and stay.
Yes, and that is very important because there are so many schemes around and people are duped into paying money and then nothing happens. But here, the whole process is online. So we talked about corruption. There's no chance for any corruption in the process because you get your information online, you do your research online, and the whole process of applying and getting accepted is online. So there's no chance of any interference whatsoever, and you don't have to pay any fees. So even the insurance, health insurance, travel, visa, everything is covered.
Have you at any point engaged with the Ministry of Education within this space now?
Several times. That was one of my first calls when I came here. So I spoke with the minister at the time and the PSs, and we also have a contact person in the education ministry who's supposed to be our entry point and multiplier. But due to the many changes, the information gets lost all the time. So we have to do refreshers, which I'm doing also. And so this Friday we have a send-off for the scholars, more than 30 who go out this year at our embassy. And so the PS Higher Education has confirmed that she will come. And we also, when you have the annual rectors conference and the vice chancellor's conference of all the universities. We routinely go there and wave the flag and tell them, but somehow we haven't managed to get the information to all the students in Kenya.
Mm-hmm. Lina, you're an alumni of such a program that is Erasmus Plus.
Yeah.
How would you say it impacted your higher learning journey?
So, as the ambassador has mentioned, the scholarship is fully funded. So I really did not have to think about or worry about how my studies would go because it was fully funded, and I got a stipend as well. So I know in Kenya we usually have the HELB loans, but it doesn't fully cover the fees. So some students usually are not able to complete their studies. Something else that this program has impacted me or shown me is that for higher education, we can actually do something together, co-create together with our lecturers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the program is not fixed, like the lecturer stands there and just speaks to us or tells us or gives us information. These programs are usually tailored to have this dialogue sort of and co-creating content for education.
Mm-hmm.
So a student is not just a student being told or given information, but they are also able to give their feedback and their opinion about a subject. Yeah.
And when it comes to knowing about these opportunities, how did you learn about this information, given that not many really Kenyans know about these scholarship programs?
Research. I was online a lot looking for scholarships at that time. That was in 2015. And I wanted, because I'm an aviation, I have an aviation background, so I was trying to, and tourism, I was trying to look for a course outside Kenya that would cater for my funding and was focused on sustainable tourism. So of course, online, I got several courses, some were in the UK, and I had to apply for the Commonwealth Scholarship, which was very, I'm sorry to say, but very hectic and not so easy. So, and then again, I came across now this Erasmus course that was offering tourism management that was fully funded, and it looked interesting because there was a lot of traveling, moving from country to country, as is how the Erasmus program is tailored. And yeah, I took a chance and I applied. So it was really a matter of doing my own research.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of just being on the lookout.
Being on the lookout?
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Dr. Delene Ikirima, you're an awardee of such a program. And you're set to start your studies soon. So how was the process for you, and what are you looking forward in terms of what you're going to study?
The process started in February. Actually, the course I'm going to study is new. It launched this year, so the first edition. And when I learned about it, I learned through an advert on Facebook. So there's much more that goes into social media than just, you know, the regular that happens. There's a lot of even information about education. So I came through across a post about Erasmus Mundus. So I was like, what is this about? You know, I kind of ignored it for a while. And then later on, I was like, okay, now I need to find out, because, you know, I'm very curious. So I went on YouTube and I searched about it. I went on Facebook. There's so many pages, Erasmus Mundus Kenya, Erasmus Mundus Nigeria, and there's so much information on these pages that many people don't know about. And then I went to TikTok, because I love TikTok, and I Googled and I searched for Erasmus Mundus, and Lena came up. And then she talked to me about it. She was like, oh, it's a good opportunity. I think she'll do it. And also, being a health humanitarian, I was really looking for something that will push me beyond just being in Kenya. So the process was quite simple for me, I would say, because I was very committed and I'm passionate about the things I love to do. So when I saw the course about humanitarian response, health and displacement, I was like, this is where I belong. I loved everything they had to offer. Also, I went through the associated partners. These are partners that come together to even help in funding the program and even giving us internships. So I found partners like Red Cross, and I was like, this is amazing. This is exactly where I want to be. So the process was quite simple for me. It was long. It needed a lot of commitment and time and paperwork, but in the end, it all worked out.
It all worked out.
Yes.
Indeed. Now, Madam Ambassador, when you look at these learning opportunities, of course they are there and people are applying, those that have benefited. But then again, what are the opportunities in terms of career? How does it look like in terms of accessing employment, especially in Europe?
Yeah. So first of all our alumni do fantastic careers out of this. They develop in amazing ways, whether it's here in Kenya or in Europe. So some decided they want to stay in Europe, but of course our idea is that most come back to help develop the country. But whether they are in Europe or they are here in Kenya, they all made a fantastic career out of it. And there are opportunities in Europe.
Okay.
Now there's
Allow me to cut you short.
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
take a very short break. We'll be right back. You'll continue on that point about opportunities in Europe. Thank you. Let's take a very short break. Don't go too far. Stay with us.
Meet the experts who empower you with competent skills at craft, certificate and diploma level. Sensei Institute of Technology. My skills, my future.
Hesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Joe Mutakumwa goes in. Well, he's left wandering about, and Gludlu will attempt to fashion out the charge! And he sinks the cranes! With time and space, makes no mistake. Ndabaitheswa Gludlu just launches that ball, angling it beautifully to the back of the net.
You're still watching Good Morning Kenya right here on KBC Channel 1. We are talking about creating education avenues for the youth. And before we went on a break, Madam Ambassador, you're talking about career prospects for students who come from Kenya and study abroad, especially within Europe. How is the landscape? How accessible are these employment opportunities?
Yeah. So after the Arasmus program, the students have the possibility to do a one-year internship if they wish. And of course, you know that the age pyramids in Kenya and in Africa in general and in Europe are inverted. So here you have plenty of young people and then few old. And in Europe, it's the other way. Very few young people and a lot of old people. And that creates millions of jobs that cannot be filled, especially in the engineering, digital, high-tech sector, but also in the area of healthcare, nursing, etc. So, and then I think if you have an internship and you show your worth, the companies will be very happy to retain you and sponsor you for visa. Also, Germany and Austria, they have concluded a labor migration agreement with Kenya. So there is a mechanism in place to facilitate people to work in Europe. And Germany just started a new visa which allows Kenyans and others from around the globe to come on a one-year job search visa to Germany. So they can even apply without a job to come and search for a job. So that's a completely new facility, but of course you have to apply and you have to show that you have something to contribute. So you have to show a certain skill level that is of interest to the labor market in Germany. But for example, in Austria, I saw the list of missing personnel in more than 100 job categories, more than 100 professions have a scarcity. And in Europe nowadays, there are many services which are no longer available because of scarcity of personnel. So they just shorten the hours of attending and providing the service. And of course, it has gotten very expensive. There are also professional recruitment agencies here from Europe, and they get a lot of money by searching here individual talent. It's a bit like the footballers, right?
Yeah.
So you have those sort of headhunters also for multinational companies from Europe. They are active here in Kenya. So there is plenty of opportunity for qualified Kenyans. And to start with the education there is the ideal departure point, I think.
Yeah. Lina, what was it like studying in an environment away from Kenya, different countries, different institutions?
Thanks for the question. So it was really, first of all, we studied in more than 2 countries. So in Denmark, they were very, very strict. Don't come to class late, even 1 minute, you're late. The exams are also different. We did oral exams rather than written exams. And that was my first semester in Europe, so that was really, really different for me. And then also there was a lot of those weather changes because the first semester is usually in September as we head into winter. So in Denmark, the darkness comes quite early. So and also the daylight would be also late. So for me, sometimes if I don't set the alarm clock, I wouldn't know it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I would sleep in. Things like that are very interesting. In Slovenia, it was more relaxed. That's where I had my second semester, and the weather was also getting nicer and nicer, and
because it was spring then.
Exactly, it was spring, so a lot of flowers, and guys are also outside. They want to be outside. It's sunnier, and it's a country that you would want to explore. It's very mountainous, very green. So that's where we were also very outgoing and wanting to, see more of Europe. And the last country was Spain, which is even more sunnier and nicer. And we I was interested to see, the way they talk about the siesta. They close up shop in the afternoons to take naps and stuff, and it actually happened.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting to rather only focusing on education, but just also seeing how other people are living, how they interact with their own challenges in their own countries. Like, for example, the weather during winter, guys are very gloomy, but during summer, people are very happy. And yeah, it made the education and learning very nice. Yeah.
Dr. Delin, how do you see this scholarship now that you're getting into? Changing your perspective in terms of how people study, especially here in Kenya?
To be honest, I was exposed before, so I did my first master's in the UK. So I already had an idea of what it is and the feel of what Europe has to offer. And I did my first degree here in Kenya. So I can definitely say that there's a very big change, especially when it comes apart from just the environment, the weather and the people, even the delivery of the message. And for me, particularly what I'm going to study, it's giving me more field work. And like I said, being the humanitarian field, it's exposing me more. I'm getting to learn more about what it means to be a humanitarian outside Kenya, outside Africa. So it's a broader perspective for me. It's a better platform for me. It's a huge stepping stone for me. And even getting to understand that, especially this being a new program that was just launched this year, we have around 100 vacancies for 4 editions. So for me, this is going to change a lot because it's giving me a better lens to look at in terms of my career prospects, and also in terms of planning what's next for me. In terms of, do I still want to continue moving around? I'm able to see what Cape Verde has to offer, what Portugal has to offer, what Uganda has to offer, which is amazing because I didn't even know African countries are actually involved in the whole Erasmus Mundus. So I'm really happy that even I get to also enjoy what my fellow country like Uganda has to offer. So definitely it will broaden my perspective in very many ways. Yeah.
Madam Ambassador, looking at this mostly master's program, are there opportunities for undergraduates, especially from Kenya, to go and study in Europe in such a manner that it's EU funded? Yes.
So we have other programs inside the Erasmus family. First of all, I want to say Erasmus is a European program, first and foremost. So the mainstay is that all European students in Europe, they study in a country that is not their country of birth. So some years ago, visionaries in the EU decided they want to open this experience to partners. So Erasmus is a huge conveyor belt in Europe, and the students from other countries, they join that conveyor belt. So it's not that they're alone traveling around in Europe. They join European students who do exactly the same, right? But the master's is our main program, but we also have programs of university to university cooperation, whereby you can have exchanges at the undergraduate level also, but that depends on the university's cooperation. We also have some programs in the TVET sector, and the latest addition is sports. But this is not as developed. The master's is our most developed program.
How does it differ when it comes to, you've mentioned TVETs and even areas of sport. How does it differ from the master's program?
Yeah, we haven't developed that here in Kenya yet, the TVET and the sports. So I cannot provide you more information right now, but my ambition is that we broaden this much beyond. So we do mostly the masters and then university to university collaboration. For example, we are planning to design jointly with the European University at the University of Nairobi a program in European Studies, a master. So this has been our focus so far, but my ambition is to broaden it into the TVET and sports, but I cannot tell you that we have done that here in Kenya yet.
Yes. You know, are there academic disciplines that receive priorities when it comes to these programs?
Yeah, there was a big discussion in Brussels, in our headquarters, whether we should custom tailor it to the needs of the country and also our priorities of cooperation with the country. And we decided not, because that would cut out so many students. For example, here we are focusing on green transition, environment, and digitization. So the two of them would be automatically excluded already because their field of interest is different. And so we said, we want to promote actively people who want to study environment sciences and digitization, but the program is open to everybody. And since it's online, we cannot control who's applying and who's successful. So there is a very soft targeting, let's say.
And have you worked with other institutions apart from what you're saying about the University of Nairobi, other institutions of higher learning in Kenya? What do they stand to gain from this?
They, if they partner with a European university, and that is basically the initiative of the university itself. The university has to have the initiative and reach out. And once they do that, we can then fund, but they have to develop a concept. What do we want to do together? And there are several universities who have been successful. Even up-country, there are universities who were a lead applicant. That means they are the ones who are responsible for the overall concept and program. So I think we have about a dozen universities here in Kenya that are involved in one way or another. But again, the sky is the limit. Since there's no cap, basically every university could do that and also get professors in for certain disciplines or sending professors out. And you were talking before about the different style of university teaching. In Europe, it's much more an academic exercise that depends on the self-interest of the person. So you yourself determine the content. It's not like in school where you get a lecture and then you go home and you have to repeat what was given to you. It's not like that. It's much more self-driven, and it's supposed to awaken your academic interest, awaken your intellect to develop your own research and delve into the subject matter. And I think this is very interesting concept, because I think the world needs more of that, because that creates innovation. So talking about innovation, the EU also has the largest public research fund in the world. And Kenya, as all other partner countries, can fully get that money as long as they partner with a university or research institute in Europe. And there's even money specially set aside for Africa that nobody else can touch. And unfortunately, both for the Arasmus scholarships and the research part, Africa is not putting the hand too much into it.
Wow.
So I wish that Kenya would just take a bigger portion out of the pot, both for the scholarships and the research money.
Lina, how has this, from your perspective, how has this, do you feel like having gone through such a scholarship opened you up to opportunities globally?
Yes, because we've mentioned that it's a global scheme, right? So even in our classes, it's a multicultural environment. So we have classmates from all over the world, and whenever we part ways, we can still do projects together. For example, myself, with my Greek classmate, we've done a lot of projects within Eastern Africa, and through actually the Arasmus funding as alumni. Yeah, so it really exposes us for sure to, to meet lecturers from abroad. You can do your research while in Kenya, but having a supervisor who's abroad because you've made these connections. And yeah, working together for projects, creating or coming up with NGOs and things like that to support the development of our countries. Yeah.
Dr. Delene, what are your expectations, given now that you're going to study in different countries, different cultures, different environments?
To be honest, I'm very open-minded and I adapt very easily. So after this, I expect to have better networking channels. I'm currently already doing a research. We currently went through a protest in Kenya. I was one of the who are the frontline medical workers. So for me, I expect to live there with better knowledge, or rather better ways of how to especially handle when it comes to such extremities, such extreme disasters that happen in our countries, or even wherever I'm going to be, possibly maybe Cape Verde or Portugal. And I'm also expecting to have a better placement in terms of my career. So I'm expecting now, having Erasmus Mundus on your name is a very big thing. I came to realize that, especially when I was applying for my visa. Because the moment I would mention Erasmus Mundus, it was like straightforward. They knew what it's about. They know the weight of having Erasmus Mundus in your CV, in your scholarship, in what you do in life. So I think for me, I'm expecting more than what I already have in terms of broadening where I want to be, my opportunities especially. And even growing in terms of understanding more about NGOs, and that is really where I'm getting into. So I'm hoping by the end of 2027 that I'll be at a better place to even do more.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's take a very short break. We'll be right back to continue with this conversation.
We are real people who give real care. Visit www.definiteassurance.com or email info@definiteassurance.com for more information, or contact 0708-247-247 or 0788-247-247. Definite Assurance. You are definitely covered. Je, uko nao.
And a chance in the box area, rifles the ball into the back of the net, and the South Africans have turned it around. so Kutumela stabs home while the Cranes were in complete disarray. One touch, one shot to the back of the net. And the Bafana Bafana have turned the tables around here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium.
Mimi hutumia mbolea inayoitwa Elgon Dhabiti DAP kwa upanzi wa mimea yenye afya bora. Halafu natumia mbolea ya Dhabiti CAN ama Dhabiti Urea kwa ukuaji wa mimea bora. Hii imenisaidia kupata mavuno mengi nikilinganisha na siku za hapo mbeleni.
Mbolea ya Elgon Dhabiti inapatikana kwa viwango vya kilo 10, 25 na kilo 50 kote nchini. Elgon Kenya Limited.
From the listed housing developments, select your preferred location and apply for a housing unit to begin your journey towards home ownership. Prices start from 640,000 Kenya shillings. Visit Boma Yangu at www.bomayangu.go.ke. Brought to you by Affordable Housing Board. Makao Bora, Jukumu letu.
Hesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
If you're just switching on your TV and you're watching KBC Channel 1, this is Good Morning Kenya. We're talking about creating opportunities for education avenues for the youth. Now, Lina, you have been a part of that scholarship. You have benefited from that scholarship. Now,
Yes.
the question that I have for you is, how are you helping other Kenyans to access these opportunities?
So I got a scholarship way back in 2016. And in my class, I was the only African out of 35 students. So with that also came a lot of stereotyping. They would think personally, I don't run. So as a Kenyan, they would expect they add me into groups to run in the morning with them, and I'm like, no, especially in Denmark. Yeah, during winter. So there was a lot of stereotyping, and I was wondering, how come I'm the only African in my class? It doesn't make sense. So I found out we have the Erasmus Mundus Association, which is now the Alumni Association for all the scholars who have received the scholarship. And I joined the association, and I looked into the Kenyan page, very few people. And I decided that year, that was 2017, to run to be the representative for Eastern Africa. So I was...
so you were running?
I ran somehow, so to speak, yeah. So I became the Eastern representative for the African chapter of the association. Yeah. And there are 10 countries within East Africa in that association. So it included Djibouti, Somalia, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Seychelles, and just the eastern part of Africa. So I won. And I decided, okay, I basically sort of made it my life's mission to make sure that many more people know about the program. So I came to Kenya, I think, still in 2017 or 18, early. I went to KU, my alma mater, Kenyatta University, and I had the first session there, and I told, the school about it. And actually, from there, my tourism department in Kenyatta University signed a contract with the University of Girona in Spain, where I studied, for my tourism master. So right now there are students who are benefiting from the partnership. So every year I think 4 students go to Europe for a short period of around 3 months for their masters. So master's students, undergrad and PhD, can do these short exchanges if universities have the partnerships. Other than that, I also do like consulting of sorts on TikTok. I have a page where I speak to students, or rather potential candidates who want to apply for scholarships or who want to study abroad. And that's how I met Darlene, actually. She reached out to me after watching some of my videos and wanted to know more about it, and actually involved her dad, who was very inquisitive about the whole process and everything. So and along with other alumni, we have our country representative. She's called Nduta, who lives in Portugal now, but she's also doing a lot of outreach. Even if she's abroad, she's doing it on YouTube, talking about the scholarship. So we really try as much as possible to make sure that our number is increasing, and hopefully we support the ambassador in reaching her goal of having more than 100 students from Kenya in a year accessing the master's scholarships. So I still do it, and I continue doing this outreach, of course, partnering with the delegation to make sure that Kenya stands out in terms of applications and in terms of numbers, because we really face a lot of competition from other countries within Africa, like Ethiopia and Nigeria. They are always in the triple digits, 200, 300. And we have the potential here in Kenya. It's just that maybe sometimes we need a little bit of a push. We are always on our phones. We love, being on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, but we can also use these platforms for learning and improving our lives. So rather than the memes and comedy that we really love so much, I think we can use those platforms also to just promote fantastic opportunities like Erasmus.
Okay. Now, Madam Ambassador, in terms of inclusivity and looking at these scholarship programs, how inclusive are they? And I'm talking from the perspective of people with disabilities.
Yeah, so in Europe, we have very strict regulations for inclusivity. So all universities have to be equipped to deal with any type of disability. And the Erasmus is has no barriers to people with different disabilities. So anybody can apply, and if they're successful, they will be treated like any other student on academic merit. And if they're successful, they will be catered for so they can succeed in their program. So, but I would like to not only talk about the disability, but about socio-economic fairness.
Yes.
Because the fact that there are no payments required, and you can apply from any point in Kenya, northeastern, western, wherever you are, makes sure that everybody has the same departure point and everybody has the same opportunity, no matter where he or she is and what her or his economic background is. And I think I'm very proud that the European Union is offering that, because that helps to broaden the development in Kenya. So education is not just for the rich. Everybody should have the same opportunity. And I think in countries where there's a high level of inequality, there's a lot of talent that cannot develop due to economic hardship. And that is a shame for a country, because you need all the talent. You need all the talent. Nobody should be excluded for economic reasons. That's why I think Erasmus Mundus is helping also in the beyond disability to have inclusive education.
What is the window of application? When mostly do these programs run?
Yeah, so opening of application is in October, but students who want to apply for the next fall semester, so in October, applications start for the next year, so 2026 September. So it takes, so the application period varies program by program, but all of them start only in October. But you have to already get your CV, your motivation letter, the recommendation letters from the professors. You have to do your research, which program is of interest to you. So by the time application opens, you're ready to upload all your documents and you know where you want to go. And then it ends somewhere in the spring, European spring. The earliest ones who are closing are in January or February, and then it goes, I think, until March or so. And then you get, in that period from March onwards, you get either the admission or the rejection. So then you have time to prepare for your departure in the European summer. So most universities start in September. So now October, for next year September.
Dr. Delene, how would you advise someone who wants to take the same path that you have taken? They want to study abroad, they want to explore the opportunities, education opportunities there, and even employment opportunities outside there.
I would say, first of all, like the ambassador had mentioned, self-discipline is very important during the whole process. It's all about your personal motivation. And I've sat in many circles where people would say, oh, your papers don't work. And it's unfortunate that in the society we live in, that it's about who knows who that gets a job. If you know this person, you get a job. But then Erasmus Mundus gives you an opportunity. You with your papers, your A+ counts, your A* counts, your B even counts. You know, sometimes it's always down to the motivation behind why you're applying and what is pushing you towards that application. So I would say that I know so many people who have done extremely well. They have such huge talent, but then they've ended up being maybe just, you know, maybe selling just clothes, you know, because they have lacked that opportunity to advance their career. But then Erasmus Mundus is here and it's offering an opportunity to say, you know what, that paper works, that paper counts, that merit actually means something to somebody out there. So I would advise anybody that, you know, is motivated and really wants to just explore and be out there, and you're saying you want a stepping stone to be a better person in terms of your career and even your personal growth, Erasmus Mundus is completely the best platform for this kind of talent, you know, because we don't get recognized, and it's unfortunate that that's a society that has been slowly growing, you know. And now you're getting a place where they're telling, you know what, come with your papers, we look at your papers, we look at your passion, we look at your motivation, and if it works, then we're ready to give you a full scholarship, and that's absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lina, your
Yeah.
message to Kenyans.
Be proactive. Opportunities are out there. At least right now, since you've been watching us, you know there's Erasmus Mundus. The window is opening in October, so please start, you know, going through the Erasmus Mundus catalog. I hope it's going to be shared on the platform here. Erasmus Mundus scholarship for 2025. The window is opening in October, so you start preparing, finding the course that you would want to apply for. Do your research and really think about your motivation. Why are you interested in getting this scholarship? As Darlene has mentioned, it's really all comes down to that, because most of these scholarships, the programs don't do interviews. It comes down to your motivation. So what are you bringing to the table?
Okay.
What are you bringing to the table, and what are you maybe going to do when you come back home?
Okay. As we wind up, what is the future of European-funded scholarship, especially within Kenya and Africa at large?
Well, if you ask me what the future is, I see only unlimited potential. Unlimited potential, and my ambition as ambassador is to use that potential to the fullest. So I think that we can expand much beyond the masters. I want to grow the masters beyond 100 students every year, master students going out. But I also want to grow the university-to-university collaboration, and what we said before, the TVET and the sports angle, to make it much broader, because in Kenya we have a huge youth bulge. The latest figures I saw, 2 million every year entering the job market. At max 200,000 get a job. How about the rest? So this is a huge challenge for any society, and if the EU can help a little bit, but also our member states, they have also scholarships like Hungary. They send every year 200 students to Hungary, 200 from Kenya. Very little known. So Germany has other programs, France, everybody. So it's a matter of doing the research and looking for it. But I think we have to broaden also into the TVET field. So we are not only focusing on academia.
All right. Thank you so much. Ambassador Henriette Giga, who is the EU ambassador to Kenya and permanent representative to the UNEP and UN Habitat. Also been talking to Lina Mkoji, who is an alumni of Erasmus Plus Mundus program, and also Dr. Darlene Ikirima, who is an awardee of the same program. She's set to start her studies 2025 to 2027. This is where we end this conversation. Stay with us. My name is Mike Megwe. Vivian Ndegwa is up next with Women at the Forefront.
Welcome back to the show. It is a pleasure to have you on board with us. Now, today being a Wednesday, of course, we usually get to bring you women who are doing different things in different fields and who are also making an impact for their societies and communities. Today is no different, as our woman at the forefront is one Nancy Jerene. Now, Nancy Jerene is a public health advocate. She is an educator and a cultural ambassador, and is currently the reigning Miss Kenya USA. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. And you?
It's a I'm doing well, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show this morning, so that we can, so that we just get to have an overview of who Nancy Jerene exactly is. Go ahead and just give us a brief intro of yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, to 2 Kenyan parents. So I grew up in the States. I went to school there. And with time, I guess I would describe myself as a child as someone who was into the arts. So I loved models, I like watching shows, but also just different ways to express myself, whether it was dancing or playing sports. So there was I was a multifaceted individual. And with time, growing up, I wanted to be a doctor or a marine biologist, but then it wasn't until I got into college I discovered public health, and I was hooked then. Yeah.
I would love to get to understand your journey in pageantry, you know, before we get into the public health bit of it. Now, what prompted you to get into, you know, the modeling part of life?
Yeah, so I think growing up, the taller I got, once I had my growth spurt, a lot of people were like, you should model, you should consider modeling. And it was something in the back of my head. And I used to have a few friends who were also pursuing different creative things, like, oh, could you come and do a shoot for us? So it was like trade for trade. But with time, I realized, I think it was back in, I want to say 2016, when I saw the Miss South Africa win. I was like, oh, there's another component of modeling that I could expose myself to and consider pursuing. And especially within the pageant realm, there's an age limit. So like, I think certain systems, once you reach 25, you can't do. So I was like, let me look into it, but I knew that's something I'll save till when I'm older, not anytime soon. And so it wasn't until my senior year of college that I learned about the Miss Kenya USA from like a cousin of mine. And I applied, I signed up, I practiced a lot, and then I did it. And that was my first pageant.
So this was actually your first pageant? You went into it green, you know, as a first, and you actually got it?
Yes.
How was that like for you? First of all, take me through the preparation stage of it.
So there's a lot of prep that goes into pageants before, like, when you see the result, you assume, okay, you just walk, you know, grace the stage and come off. There's a lot. You have to know how to compose yourself, how to, you know, stand upright, how to articulate yourself well. What is your platform? What is your why? And then how to distinguish yourself in each category. So going into it beforehand, I genuinely didn't know how much prep it would take. And so once I started prepping, I started realizing, like, okay, you don't just stand on the stage, you have to dance, or you have to, like, you know, move with your outfit or stand out in each thing. And so the prep, I remember every week I would go to my runway coach, and we would just practice for an hour straight of me walking up and down, up and down. And then I had a pageant coach, and then we were practicing in the dress, and then we were, you know, doing questions that they may ask me. And then a dear friend of mine, her little sister, would come, and she was like, it's game mode. Like, there's nobody's laughing, nobody's doing anything. We all need to sit there and practice. But there's a lot of prep that goes into it.
Yeah, and you know, most times, you know, looking from the outside, looking in, we just get to see this runway models just getting to strut the runway, and it's all glitz and glam. But the work that goes in before we get to that point where, yes, now you're on the runway and showcasing, you know, different designs. A lot goes into it before we get to that point. So maybe if we can just talk a bit about demystifying how the modeling industry, to be specific, sometimes may be perceived, you know, as just, okay.
I think for most models, they try to exude this, not, what's the word, like youthful essence, right? But that comes through hard work as well. So a lot of them, you eat well, so you're mindful of what you eat. You try to make sure you sleep well, because that will show, you know, in your under eyes, like the body will tell. So you have to be very mindful of how you're taking care of yourself. You know, not overindulging into things, whether it's sugar, and just making sure you're active and you're moving. But it's just like, it's not just you show up. It's like, if if I'm deciding to, let's say, be the face of this brand, they're expecting me to come in as a certain way.
Yeah.
So you have to do your due diligence of taking care of yourself to make sure you know your job is your looks.
Yeah. And also, you know, speaking about it not being about the glitz and the glam, there's always, when it comes to pageants, you need to have a passion project.
Right.
I believe, you know, every model that is coming on board needs to have a passion project. So talk to me about your passion project.
Yeah, so mine is actually with maternal and neonatal health. The reason as to why I was doing it is because that final year of college, I decided to do my last project on Kenya. And when I was looking into it, I realized that maternal mortality was the 6th leading cause of death. And I remember when I spoke with my mom, I found out that's the same reason my shosho lost her child, because of the way things were handled. So she had a preterm baby. And I was like, you mean to tell me 50 years down the line, we're still having some sort of problems when it comes to maternal and infant outcomes? And so looking into that, it was around the time I also found the pageant, and I was like, oh, this is perfect, because beyond just being beautiful, how can I spread this message to those who it matters the most? And then also being a Black woman in the States, you're 3 times more likely to pass away when delivering, yet it has nothing to do with, let's say, a said condition, but rather the way care is being, you know how they're...
Negligence.
Exactly, negligence. And so that was part of my why. And with time, even coming here, I've been here for 2 months, and I was in Kisumu. The more we look at these cases, we see a lot of children are passing away from preventable measures. And so there's so many, or preventable causes. There's so many things that can be done on the mother's end or on the hospital's end. But sometimes there's this lack of knowledge or lack of practice. And so it's creating deaths that are not needed or unnecessary. So for me, it's just like, I can either come and just look pretty, or I can come and share the word. And maybe this is what will invite people to listen to me, but beyond that, it's like, how can I change a mother's life and their child's?
And you're so passionate about it, you know, you're so passionate about it. So probably, you know, as you've said, you've been in the country for 2 months specifically for that, you know, working around the maternal health and all of that. So what would you say you've pointed out as gaps when it comes to women's health?
Yeah, so the biggest when it comes to it is misconceptions. When it comes to antenatal cares, we see mothers will go in the beginning trimester, like their first trimester, so that they can get ultrasound pictures of the child. And they're like, oh, I've seen the child and that's enough. But beyond that, no, you have to keep going, because if not, conditions within the body can worsen, right? So if you have high blood pressure or you're anemic, this is not good for your child. So you can develop preeclampsia, which later will develop to eclampsia, which is something, if caught earlier, could be, you know, changed. Same with mothers who are on HIV. If they're taking their antiretroviral therapy, the child will come out and the likelihood of them having HIV decreases. But when they're not, you know, following up, it leads to things that could have been changed or caught, but they're not caught. And then in addition to that, mothers should be taking like iron supplements or folic acid so that the child can fully develop. Because if the child comes out and their lungs are not developed, they struggle to breathe, they struggle later down in, you know, in life. And you have to think like, what type of child am I bringing into the world? And is it one that has a fighting chance or fair chance at life? And it's not the mother's fault exclusively, but you know, sometimes there are misconceptions or rumors that are like, oh, you go there, they take your blood and they keep it or something like this. But no, they're testing to make sure you're well. And I think sometimes people have to understand healthcare workers are there to help. And that's their heart to serve, isn't it? And so just having these more conversations like this, and even maybe having mothers come and say, you know, their problems they have with the health system. But then another thing is the strain. A lot of national level hospitals, a lot of people go to them first, but then there's not enough, you know, doctors or physicians to treat everyone. So then that leads to doctors having to choose, okay, which patient is going to have a higher likelihood of surviving, which is part of the reason why the initiative I'm doing with COIN, the Coalition of International Neonatal Nurses, we're raising 40 bed cots and 10 CPAP machines because many of the times doctors have to put babies all in one bed cot, like 3 babies, right? So if one has an infection, it gives it to all the other children. And these are things that are preventable, but there's not enough supplies or enough people to distribute it. So we're trying to give each baby a fighting chance at living that life.
How has that been like for you?
Yeah. Which element of it?
Just the entire bit of it, you know, getting to come back to your home country. Yes, you were not born here, but this is your home country. You know, just getting to come back here and work on such a project that is really, it's uplifting, it's life-saving, you know, a project that you're also very passionate about. How has that been like for you?
It's been a beautiful experience and very humbling because being able to recognize that people don't pick the situations that they're in. We're all born, and we're born to parents, we don't pick that. We're born in places, we don't pick that. And for me, I recognize the position of privilege I'm in by coming back. But I'm like, given that what I have, I can either, you know, stay in the States, stay to myself and continue to grow myself and my life exclusively, or I can use what I've been learning and the gift that I've been blessed with to help and impact other people. And it's been so beautiful to be with other healthcare providers and seeing how receptive they are, but also coming in and not saying, oh, everything you're doing is wrong, but how can I work alongside you and support the effort you're doing? So this is why with the CPAP machines, it's Coin that told me, this is what we're struggling with, this is what we need, how can we help? How can I be of help to them? So I've been able to raise 200,000 Kenyan shillings, and we're trying to get to 1.5 million. But I'm just like, I recognize the work that's already being done, and I just want to amplify it.
Yeah, and how do you get to decide where exactly to go? You know, like you mentioned, you're working in with a facility in Kisumu. So how do you get to pick, okay, we'll be going to Kisumu, or are we going to be in Nairobi and maybe Machakos? How do you get to decide on that?
So with the Kisumu project, it was actually an extension of my practicum at Emory University. So I had a professor who I met, and he's working with an organization in Cham. So when I was speaking with him, he's like, you're welcome to come with me, you know, to Kisumu and, you know, join the project that I'm doing there. So that's kind of how that happened. But when it comes to now the CPAP machines, Coin is reaching out to the Ministry of Health to know which facility is in need of it first. So
yeah. What is your work grounded on, you know?
Just making the world better. I think when we watch the news, we can see, you know, you can feel helpless or very distraught. But I think one mindset I like to have is, what is the little I can do with what I have now? And so, you know, like I was saying, I have this ability and gift to do something, and instead of me sitting and doing nothing, what can I do? So this is kind of like, I can't just sit there. I have to do something.
Yeah, and this is something that you do that excites you, like you do it and it gives you fulfillment. Would you say that this is your purpose in life?
You know, maybe I got a little bit of chills when you said that, and probably, but I'm a very prayerful person, and I ask God and I discern, okay, Lord, what is it that you want me to do? And with this whole journey, I never saw myself being a pageant queen, and it was something I saw as a dream, but the way things just developed and the way even all the prep before and how people just came and helped me and came alongside me, supporting me, even till now, I know it's not my doing but God's, and I'm like, Lord, if I just stay in your will, things will continue to align. So to an extent, I would say yes.
It is your purpose. It's amazing that you've gotten to, you know, establish and realize your purpose, because they say there's two, I don't know if this is the correct way of putting it. A person gets born 2 times, you know. When you get born into the world, of course, that's obvious. But then the other time that you are born is when you get to discover why you were born. And that is when you realize your purpose. Lock it.
Oh, that was too good, yes.
Yeah. All right, so now, maybe what's your long-term goal in matters, you know, public health? You know, what's your long-term goal before we get to talk about the projects that you're doing also in the education sector, because you do that as well. So winding up on the maternal health and projects around that, what are you looking at in the long run?
Hopefully, having maybe 100,000 lives saved within the, like, let's say next 5 years, right? Because there's more time, of course. But I just really want to see a long-lasting legacy, and even just having one life saved. I don't want to undermine it by having, you know, this big target number. But one life in itself, we don't know if that's the next doctor or the next president or the next scientist who discovers like a cure to cancer. But each child and each individual matters. So just having that remain there, and then maybe coming back and just helping improve the hospital systems here in Kenya.
All right, all the best on that. All the best on that.
Thank you.
Now, you've also founded a curriculum that affirms children's identities. Tell me more about that. Let us in on that.
Yeah, so it's called Cultivate, and the whole idea came from the way we tend to a garden, right? And you have a seed, and with that seed, if you tend to it, you water it, you have sunlight, it will blossom. But after it blossoms, with time, it'll bear fruit. And that fruit is enough to sustain you, you know, to keep you alive for a lifetime. And so the whole concept is having children discover who they are so they know how to contribute into the world, but it being so purposeful so that they know why they were made. And so part of the reason I felt the need to do it, especially here in Kenya, is given the way the academic system focuses primarily on the child's academic outcome, as opposed to who they are, what are their interests, right? If they're doing well in sports or the creatives, like having the child be holistic. So I wanted the kids, we've begun by doing a personality test, right? So if you know who you are, if you know you're extroverted or introverted, if you know you like to socialize or how you like to show up in certain places, it helps you know, okay, later down in life, this is a career that would be good for me, or this work environment is also good for me. But I was like, if you know yourself the best, then it's going to be easier navigating through life. So people are not telling you who you are, but you're showing it up in places saying, this is who I am, this is what I have, take it or leave it, like this. And so it was just strengthening. It was both, I believe the class was like 128 grade 9 students, but I also wanted them to see that their dreams can come to fruition. It's just them to take care of it. And yes, people may come and say, you know, this plan of yours is not growing, but you and your side in self know what you're putting in to make that come to purpose, right? And so that's kind of what we did with the students. And it was a really, really beautiful experience. And it was interesting to see, even after the program, there was a statistic that came out saying, I believe 400,000 students in grade 9 don't know what they want to be here in Kenya. But it's also like we don't have spaces like this where the students can, you know, dream and desire and hear what it would take, but also think outside of this box that they've been placed in.
Yeah. So just how exactly does this curriculum work? Is it a one-off thing whereby you just gather school-going children, pupils in one area, get them through the program, or is it something that you move around in schools, give the curriculum to the teachers? Just help me understand how that works.
So I did it for the month of June, and I was fortunate enough to have the school called Green Garden Schools in Kikuyu. They allowed me to speak to their grade 9 students and then their Form 4 students. And so far I've only been able to do it in one school, but of course if I am able to, you know, reach out to other schools or hear back from them, then maybe I can move around. But we did it for a few weeks. And so I had some of my friends back in the States who are like engineers, like zoom in and say what their journey was like. And I remember one friend, she was explaining to the students how I believe she got like a 1 or 5 in her science test, and everyone was like, what? And now she's studying, you know, biochemical engineering. So it's knowing that, yes, you may have these things in the world tell you, or people tell you you're incapable of it, but that doesn't mean anything if you have the drive. But that was one proponent of it. But they're just like different little workshops to do with the students.
Yeah, you know, and I like how you've put it, that, you know, you had people who were coming in, you know, probably not in person, but just people who would be there as representations to show that it's actually possible. It can be done. And it does not matter, you know, where you are at the moment in terms of even your education, you know, whether you're failing in school or not. It's all about your mindset, what you have in your mind, what you desire, and mainly just have your focus on. So just probably, you know, what's the importance of having that representation where there's someone you can look at, not necessarily mirroring, but there's someone else that you can look at as a mentor.
Yeah, I think it only fuels your dream more to know it's possible. Like, yes, certain students may be creating their own path that doesn't exist yet, but to hear, you know, each successful person has a different outcome, but the work they put in is the same. Meaning, you wake up every day, this is how you stay diligent. So seeing that, okay, these are the skills that I need to acquire, even though I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a singer, or I want to be, you know, let's say a football player, right? These are all very different things, but that diligence, right? There's commonalities between all of these people that if you see and you begin to understand so young, then you're unstoppable.
Yeah, that's for sure. Teach them young, as
Yes.
they always say.
Yes.
You know, and you have this vision of to nurture, you know, a generation of confident and informed youth. That is what you're doing with this particular curriculum that you've just gotten to talk about. What's the background for that? Like, what initiated that part of you?
Yeah, I think it was discovering myself. In college, I went in and I didn't know much about public health, and it was during the pandemic. But I was like, if I had someone, you know, just expose me to different careers, especially from a young age, but also how much more decisions I would have made with confidence if I knew who I was. A lot of things would have been differently. Like, I'm grateful for the path that I've been on because it's led me here. But just imagine how many other empowered people, or let alone children, would go out into society if they knew exactly who they were and what they wanted, right? So that was part of the inspiration for the curriculum. And centering it in Christ.
Yeah. So you work with kids around what ages, probably?
Yeah, so anywhere from middle school to high school, but even primary school, the older kids can be taught as well.
Okay. As we almost come to a close of this conversation, you are a cultural ambassador going by your bio. Tell me more about that. And I've also read somewhere that you love encouraging Kenyans living in the diaspora to engage more with their heritage. And by this, you mean not just engaging with our food, our cuisines, or our festivals, but engaging more with our culture. Talk more about that.
Yeah, so I think one of the beautiful things about winning the pageant is that I've gotten to travel to several different states within the States, I guess, and just meet different Kenyans living in the diaspora. Even though we're all very different and have different upbringings, it's very similar, but we're all united by being Kenyan. But I think there's a gap between, let's say, my parents' generation and those my generation and younger, or a little bit older too, in terms of, yes, we're Kenyan by virtue, but it's like beyond just eating the food or speaking the language. Do we actually know our people? Do we know the struggles they went through? Do we know our history? So I've been beckoning a lot of children to know these things for themselves. And I think a lot changed when I met Goge Watheongo, and it just ignited something in me, because he kept emphasizing that if we don't speak our mother tongue, it'll be gone. And already coming back to Kenya, it's been interesting, or rather scary, to see that the children now can't speak their mother tongue. And at least I understand a little bit of Kikuyu, but I'm like, okay, coming back to Kenya, and a lot of people don't speak, you know, that language. Just like that in one generation, when we have kids, then how are we going to speak to them if we can't even speak it ourselves? So like he's saying, the language will die. So it's just knowing these things of like connecting back to our roots and remembering where we came from and paying homage to those that came before us.
You're doing an amazing job. And for sure, you deserve to be our woman at the forefront today, because you're doing a lot of things that are impacting the next person in a very big way that maybe you may not actually get to see it, but it sure will make an impact. So probably just, that's your camera. You can give us your final remarks.
So thank you for everyone who's listened. And I just want to remind you that you are capable of doing anything, and you can do it through Christ who strengthens you. But God created you for a purpose, so take time to know who you are so that you can make the most out of this life, because we only have one to live.
Well put. Thank you so much for gracing our show today, and all the best in everything that you get to have your hands in.
Thank you for having me.
All right, this is where we end this particular conversation, and this is also where we end Good Morning Kenya for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, we do this each and every morning, so I'll see you tomorrow, same time and place. God willing, do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Goodbye.
Kenya's Scarcity double waterproof in the paint.
From the listed housing developments, select your preferred location and apply for a housing unit to begin your journey towards home ownership. Prices start from 640,000 Kenya shillings. Visit Boma Yangu at www.bomayangu.go.ke. Brought to you by Affordable Housing Board. Makao Bora, Jukumu Letu.